Should you summon? Part 2. Now, this is going to be something I'm pretty much going to do probably with every single banner that comes to the global side of Tower Fantasy, just because we get the early info of how the character is pretty much going to be, but then the week of the character's release, which if you guys didn't know, Claudia is releasing in about 2 days now, we do get the official confirmation of what the character's abilities are going to be and if anything changes and stuff like that. And if there's a kind of a significant change, then I'm going to cover it on the channel. If it's not that significant, then I'll probably just leave the part 1 and only the part 1 for future banners. But it looks like most of the time it's going to be a part 2 on almost all these banners. So pretty much if you haven't seen part 1, go watch part 1 because it's really good, covers a lot of details. But in this video, we're kind of going to skim over a couple things of should you summon for Claudia. Now, what I said in part 1 still stands. I believe you should not summon for Claudia unless you're going to go for at least 1 star. That is my humble opinion. Or unless you are planning on maining physical weapons, but do know that you might be waiting for a while for when it comes to the more of that physical side. And now with the kind of nerf in a sense that they did, I feel like now you really are going to want to be focusing on only using physical weapons when it comes to her. Now, the main reason you're going to be pulling Claudia, of course, is for the physical resonance, which I have a couple pages open here so you can see, which is this page right here. Nothing really changes from here with the exception of her 3-star, but we'll get to that in a second. But you're still pulling mainly for that physical resonance, which of course gives you the increase in physical attack by 15% and physical resistance by 25% if you're using 2 or more physical weapons, which means if you're going to pull Claudia at her base and you're only going to pull just 1 copy and that's it, you don't want to go for a star, then you're gonna have to run Shiro with her to really bring out Claudia's strongest version of herself. Because other than that, you don't, like I said, you don't have any other choices currently. Shiro's the only other physical weapon we got. We're going to talk about Tsubasa in a second here. Shiro's the only other physical weapon we got in the game. And the possibility of us getting Mark is very, very, very low. It's probably not going to happen. So if that being the case, unless Global decides to collab with somebody and give us another physical character, you're going to be waiting all the way till Lyra, which of course things on the global side can change, but if they kind of go in the order they're going, we're not going to get Lyra for a very long time. So that means your physical support is not going to be there for a very long time. So you're really looking at Shiro and of course Claudia, unless you get her to the 1-star, and let's talk about that right now. Alright, so the primary reason people pull for Claudia is literally for that 1-star. Usually when you hear people saying, oh yeah, I'm going to go for Claudia, it usually means they're going to go for that 1-star on her. Because what happens is it negates everything pretty much I just said. Getting 1-star on her means she can fit on any team. Because 1-star, after hitting a target with a skill or discharge skill, you grant 1 stack of increased damage by 8% for 25 seconds. It can stack up to 3 times. So you use a discharge skill and then use a skill on a character, use a skill on another character, use a skill on another character, and then boom, you got your maximum stack. You got your 24% damage for 25 seconds, which is a very, very good buff, and it's very strong. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of skill to get used to it, because you're going to have to make sure it's like, okay, let me use this discharge. All right, let me use that skill. Let me switch to that weapon. Let me start the fight with this weapon, and those things and so forth. So it's not something that's just like, oh, I'm going to throw my wallet at Claudia, and she's going to do a bunch of work for me. No, you still have to have a brain, and you still have to use some skill. So that's the main focus with Claudia, and that's the main reason why people pull for her. So if you do plan on pulling for Claudia and you're like, but Beards, you know, is she worth it if I at least get that 1-star on her? If you get the 1-star on her, she is worth. She really is. She's a very strong character. She brings a lot of uniqueness to the table, and the 1-star, like I said, just helps build that support. You can literally start running any kind of comps and you can throw Claudia into the mix, especially if you're doing your roles. Like if you're doing a DPS role in the group, then you don't need to run a healing weapon, so you can literally run a Frigg, Tsubasa, and Claudia comp, which that's deadly. And we'll get to that in a second, but let's move on down the list to where the Kind of the nerf comes into play, which is her 3-star. So 2-star is typical. You know, some characters get HP gain, some characters get attack. She gets attack. 3-star. When hitting a target with a skill or discharge skill, apply 1 stack of war wounds to the target. So that didn't change. Increase incoming physical damage and shatter from physical weapons. By 10% for 15 seconds. Stacks up to 1 time. So the way it was before, I know why they did this too, which I'll get to that in a second. Over on the Chinese side, hitting a target with a discharge skill or skill applies a stack of war wounds, increasing incoming physical damage and shatter effects from physical and elemental weapons taken by the target by 10% for 15 seconds. So they pretty much made it so that way the only 2 people who would benefit from this is literally Claudia herself and Shiro. That's it. Her 3-star does not benefit anybody else. It's just a physical buff, which is actually very similar to Frigg. But when you know who's coming, when it comes to Frigg, this is why I'm still going to do a video on Frigg later on. But you know Saki Fuwa's coming, right? That is a guarantee. She is a character that is coming, and she is a very powerful character. With my girl Claude over here, we only know that Lyra's coming, which Lyra's good and all, but she's not Saki Fuwa. So yeah, that 3-star kind of hurts, but I do get why they didn't put this side of it into the global side, because when you think about the other stuff she brings to the table, when you think about her 1-star, you know, that 24% increase in damage, and then you think about this, the 3-star, which is an extra 10% increase in damage, and then the shatter. And not to mention, if you go even further and get her beyond to that 5-star, she can become extremely powerful and extremely broken, and then we have ourselves another Crotech on our hands. And that's when she could bring a pay-to-win aspect to the game. So her 3-star technically nerfed, but I think it's kind of a proper balance, especially if you look at Frigg, which Frigg brings something kind of similar to the table when it comes to frost weapons. So I think that's a good thing that they did. It kind of keeps her a little bit on the balance side, and it makes people really think, and it makes it more fair for the people that are not going to throw their wallets at the game. Because let's be honest, I'm going to be straight up honest with you. Trying to get a character to 3-star free to play, it ain't easy. It's not. You're going to have to use a lot of your resources, and you're going to have to skip a lot of future banners. Trust me on that. I'm getting Frigg to 3-star, and my dark crystals are extremely low right now, and it is not fun. So if I do go for Claudia, hopefully events come out, and who knows. But the thing is, like I said before, I'll say it again, going for Claudia, you have to go for that 1-star, because that's when she becomes valuable for everybody, especially knowing that we have no idea what we might get on the global side. Now, if we do happen to get info that we are going to get Mark, and we are going to get Mark, then Claudia is actually hella worth it. 100% you should summon. If you want to, of course. Do whatever the hell you want to do. But not knowing we're going to get Mark, like I said, you might be better off saving for like Cobalt B, get the fire resonance, and then you get Ruby, and then you got yourself a hell of a good fire team with a Ruby, Cobalt B, and Huma. Absolute beasts are Ruby, Cobalt B, and King. Absolute monstrosity. So yeah. Now, another reason why you might not want to summon for Claudia, I mentioned this in my first video, and I'll mention it here. Tsubasa. Again, she exists. She's in the global pool. She's in the black and gold nucleus pools. That means you probably pulled her. If you've been playing since day 1, you probably pulled a Tsubasa, and if you haven't, you should. She's really fun. And then you might get a copy or 2 of her. If you happen to get 1 copy of her, you literally have a better, I personally think, almost better version than Claudia's 1-star. Let me go over that. So 1-star Tsubasa grants a stack of sharp arrow each time the arrow fired by a dodge attack hits a target. Each stack increases damage by 5% for 15 seconds stacks up to 3 times. So all that means is you literally dodge, shoot, dodge, shoot, dodge, shoot. Boom, you got 15% attack increase for 15 seconds. So you can literally start the fight with Tsubasa, dodge, shoot, dodge, shoot, dodge, shoot. Boom, you got your 15%, and then switch to your other weapons and do your combos. Literally. You don't have to use a skill. You don't have to worry about a discharge. You don't have to worry about certain rotations. It is just a brain dead way to get a boost, which I love. I absolutely love. Not to mention, if you do start starring her up, which again, she's on the general pool, so most likely you're gonna start starring her up, she starts getting little bonuses. Launching a dodge attack fires 3 charged arrows. So what that means is 1 dodge shoot. If it hits the target, boom, you instantly get your 15% increase in 15 seconds from that 1 move. Don't have to use 3 skills or 3 discharges. You just get it. And then 6-star. When you 6-star her, sharp arrow stacks up to 5 times. Hitting a target with a charged arrow immediately grants 3 stacks. Headshots grant 5 stack. So what that means is you could do the dodge attack 5 times and you get 25% increase in attack for 15 seconds. That's a 1% more than our girl Claude. Doesn't last as long, but is a 1% more. Or you can literally start the fight with a charged up shot, charge your bow, shoot the target in the head, which is the majority of the time. That's what I do. Boom, you instantly start with 25%, 15 seconds of attack. Instantly. Tsubasa. Global banner. You're gonna get. Yeah. So that is why it is very hard for me to tell people, oh yeah, you should summon for Claudia, because she's an amazing character, and trust me, I do want a copy. Why? Because Lyra is probably one of my most wanted and desired characters in this game. I'm not gonna lie. When I first seen Lyra's trailer, when I first seen her art, when I first seen her gameplay, I was like, that is a character I freaking want more than any other character in this game. She is physical though, so I kind of need the physical mommy. But the time between her and Claude is so far away. There's so many other characters I also want to, that is it really worth me going for Claude and then just going for that 1-star? I have no idea. I personally don't think it is. I think it's I think my investments are better off in somebody like Tsubasa or Cobalt B, because I do want to run the fire team. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, part 2 of should you summon, mainly going after that 3-star, looking at that 3-star buff. But again, if you're gonna pull for Claude, guys, just do note, if you're not running the physical team with her, you're really gonna want to get her that 1-star, so that way she gets that, she brings a nice little benefit to your squad. But other than that, man, are you going to summon for Claude? Let me know in the comments below, because I would really like to know if you're going to summon for her, and why are you going to summon for her. Are you going to be running that future Lyra team? So are you going to try to future-proof yourself? Because that's another thing you could do. You could just summon for Claude, put her in the back pocket, get your 1 copy, put her in the back pocket, and don't even worry about her till Lyra shows up. Or if we're lucky, we do end up getting Mark. But let me know in the comments below, guys. As always, stay positive. Peace out.